Draft Drafters, it's Dan, it's JP, and we are, 2.5 hours into the official start of the NFL season. Did you spill beer? Mine got a little frisky,
but the only it's kind of an old joke at this point, but literally last night, I made it a point to go get like some glass cleaner and clean it all off. It didn't even make it a half a day.
There you go, man. Well, you know what else didn't make it much more than a half a day?
My beer is cooler than yours too. Even now, I spilled it. Now I have spilled it.
There you go. Yep. You know what else didn't make it much more than half a day? I think Max Crosby is a Raven. Ooh.
Oh man,
Ooh.
Dude,
things have happened.
I don't know what to say other than it is blatantly obvious to me that something had occurred where, because they were well aware of this knee injury. Hell, we all were. Everybody saw Max Crosby's Instagram post in the hospital bed. You know what I mean?
We knew it was a meniscus tear. Damn. We knew he was. What?
We might as well just have it be live and see if you want the first little bit of the intro. I did not hit record.
Why would you do that?
Are we starting over, or am I hitting record now and you're just...
No. I'll just, we're just going to have now. And so, everybody, real time. What's going to happen now is JP's
record.
voice
Let's go.
His voice now probably sounds way better than it did a few seconds ago because it's actually his microphone and not his AirPods under his hoodie. All right. Hey, like I said, man, we've done 300. We've done 300 some odd episodes, right? 300 some odd episodes where we cleaned things up on the back end. We weren't doing video with it, but now that you've got everything positioned really nicely behind you, I'm technically still missing one poster above my head. I just haven't gotten another, horizontal one to do yet. But man, now it's just wide open, everybody. We are who we are, and we don't feel the need to hide our professionalism or at times lack thereof, right? But who did hide their professionalism or lack thereof?
The Baltimore Ravens.
Might be the Baltimore Ravens. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, dude, everybody knew that you saw the little social media post. He's in the hospital bed, surgery on the meniscus.
Yeah, everybody knew it was a meniscus tear. They knew he was repairing it, not
January or whatever, right? So you're well aware. You knew what you were getting into. You agreed to these terms. It is what it is. I understand legal tampering period. It's not official. Not even the new league year. Blah 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 blah. That's today or whatever. But you knew. And then at somewhere you also were like, ooh, we could sign Trey Hendrickson for cheaper.
Who's older?
And keep our picks, but cheaper and keep our picks.
Right.
So, sure, while that may seem like this, well, not seem, it is the smarter move. Right?
To an extent.
Nah, because there's a lot of people out there who are saying, even I say, like, the Raiders won that trade. That never happened because Max Crosby's not in the window of Raiders contending for anything.
That is true.
So
there's no doubt about that.
To get rid of a player that is not in your window of contention and then get 2 first-round picks, you win, right? Sure, you could argue the Ravens are now more in the window of contention with Max Crosby, but
they are.
Is it super more in with him coming off from an injury than it is with Trey Hendrickson, who I agree is not as good as Max Crosby, but he's damn good, and you get to keep the first round picks?
Sure. Well, and again, the hope that you have with Hendrickson
now the Ravens won, just shady as all get out.
Well, then again,
and what is with this?
I've read takes all over the place. Yeah,
I still have.
Yeah, I think they give us like a little extra in the pint. Like this might be a British pint. I don't know. It feels like it's a little more than 16 ounces.
They messed up.
Yeah, the label's upside down right there. For those of you wondering, we are drinking the Thomas Hefferson. It's a Heffewieisen from Presidential Brewing. My buddy Jake got me, and we'll talk about that a little later on. I'm also rocking a couple of these right now because the wife just made cookies, and these are like right out of the oven. So
negative 2 seconds.
I'm eating a cookie. I'm over Mountain Show too, man.
Do you know how long it's been since I've had a cookie?
You are not a sweets guy, so I can imagine it's been years.
I guarantee you it's been at minimum 3 years.
It sounds accurate, yeah.
At minimum.
You certainly didn't have one at our wedding because those things were gone in like 13 seconds.
Nope. Brad. Brad took down one of every cupcake and I think one of every cookie.
He's the reason why I need to buy more desserts. There's no doubt about that. So thanks, Brad.
But in his defense, Paige had tried some of them.
Sure. No, hey, look.
He tried all of them, but she tried some of everything he grabbed.
He's just my reminder that I should have bought more desserts. So this is your non-football tip today. Any of you who are getting married in the future, plan out how many guests you have, double or triple that number, and then that's about how many desserts you need to have. Just remember that, everybody. Remember that, you'll be in good shape. Teams that are trying to be in good shape right now, though, dude, we are full on in free agency. So much, like billions of dollars of contracts have been put out there. One of them got pulled back. We'll see what happens if anybody else gets shenanigans.
The Raiders spent like $187 million or something like that.
They probably spent more than that. No, I think they committed themselves to 187 for this upcoming season. I think.
Just
or maybe
for the
it is
season.
187 total.
Yeah,
and
they've
got a lot.
Do you realize how infinitely better? This might be a good segue into what we're talking about today. How infinitely better the Raiders roster is. Like they actually did.
Oh, they did the same thing the Patriots did last year.
I am salty. Oh, go ahead.
No, just the Pats spent over $100 million in free agency in their flip-flop from having such a bad roster to obviously they're making the Super Bowl, so they weren't necessarily thinking that was the goal maybe to start the season, but obviously it worked out for them. But yeah, the Raiders did the same kind of thing. They put a ton of money in. Now, obviously the fun part for them is they thought $30 million of that was coming off the books with not having to have Max Crosby around, and might still do that, but man, I could see this, and we'll talk about the Raiders in a bit when we get to them.
They're going to move him because I really think he's not happy there either.
Wherever he goes, he is going to have an FU season in the holster for this because he wants to absolutely rub it in Baltimore's face.
I think 31 teams and fan bases want to rub it in Baltimore's face. This seemed to cause a lot of a huge ripple effect throughout the entire league.
Well, it doesn't upset you because you can't stand him anyways, so.
That's true. Baltimore was borderline a bottom 16 for me, and now they might be in it. Because I really only know who the bottom 5 teams are. Like the bottom 6-pack team, I don't know who the 6th one is, but I'm not here to
well, Baltimore improved their chances for that.
They improved their chances. But the good segue is today, I don't know if you said it yet, we're talking about team needs post-ish free agency because it's
post the first wave or two.
Yeah, the first couple waves are done, so it's going to take a minute for it to like super change them. But I was going to talk about the Raiders first, but we got to stick to our.
You got to stick to the schedule, man. We'll get to the Raiders. Now, we're not going to take 5 minutes on each team because we'd be here for 3 hours, but we are going to rip through all of these and talk about the highlights.
So I'm not going to be looking over at you a ton here because I found a way to erase my spreadsheet.
Why would you do that?
I don't know, and it will not let me restore the older version, so all of my old team needs are now gone. So we're going off from memory of what I had, but then kind of looking at what they addressed. So starting with Cincinnati here, what do you figure? We're doing like 2 minutes on each team?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
So Cincinnati, I had basically anything defense and O-line, really. Let's be honest. It was basically anything defense and O-line. But they also went out and gave Boye Mafe. Did you like that contract?
They gave him.
I might be confusing with.
No.
I might have been Owe.
Always. We'll get to him in a bit. Mafe's
rich,
contract is probably a bit rich, but it's expecting him to continue to ascend. So, 20 a year is a bit rich, but still, he's young enough to where he could go into that. We'll talk about Owe later on.
But what does that say about Shamar Stewart and Miles Murphy? I get it. You can never have too many edge rushers, but
it says what we always knew about one of those two.
I knew it about both of them. But anyways. So
Miles Murphy's coming into his 3rd season, so I'm giving Miles one more shot.
Team 1. I'm going off on a tangent already.
Love it.
Obviously, including myself. I continue to use the phrase, you can never have too many edge rushers. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's absolute shenanigans. You know why? Because it's difficult to build a team that's good at every level if you even have 2. Like, if you had 2, like everybody, all Lions fans, everybody goes, let's go get Max Crosby. I'm like, at what cost? Then what are you where are you going to be awful? You can't have Hutch and Crosby. Let's look at the Giants. They're already trying to potentially trade Thibodeau. You know why? Because they know there's no way you can retain Brian Burns, Abdul Carter, and Kayvon Thibodeau.
Nope, you can't afford 3 guys in that position group.
So while it may be true you could never have too many, the point is you can't have that many.
Right, exactly.
If you wanted to build a team. So super dumb. So it seemed weird to me that was my point. I feel like they've kind of given up at least on one of these guys, or just accepting it's going to take time.
Yeah, take a couple seasons.
Now they got 3 maybe edge rushers. But anyways, so they brought in Mafe. They brought in Cook at free safety. That is essentially all they have done. So
did they re-sign Risner, I think, and that's about it.
Oh yeah, I wasn't even going to go for like the re-sign guys. I was mainly going like I was mainly just going the new additions, if you will.
Right.
But as I look at, I'm just going to do a super fast gauntlet. Go ahead, finish your thought.
I'm saying there seemed like there was chatter about them trying to get a linebacker, but that did not happen.
Right. But they might be all right there if you're right about one guy. But we'll get there, because what I think I'm going to do is a super fast gauntlet at everything. Quarterback, they're set, right?
Yeah.
Running back, they're set for now because Chase Brown's flashed. It is what it is. Wide receiver, super set. They might have the best 2 wide receiver tandem. At least it's debatable in the league.
Right.
Tight end,
yeah.
I think they're set personally. I mean, they gave Gesicki a little bit of money, and Sample's solid too, so they're set, right? Now, the offensive line, you got Brown and Fairchild. They got Risner back. I like Mims there. Center, you got Karras. I don't hate it. Like, you could upgrade it, but I don't hate it. But let's be honest, the defense is what held this team back.
Right.
So I already talked about edge rusher. D-line, here's the first opportunity for me. Slayton and Hill. Yes, you got Jenkins last year, but heck, he isn't really starting. But even then, you could still use another one. So in theory, I think D-line's a need. I think linebacker could be a need, but there's also, it could be okay. We'll see what happens this year. Demetrius Knight looked a little better than we both thought he would be. I know you were a much bigger Barrett Carter fan than I was. We'll see. You know what I mean? But it could be a need. I'd say D-line is above linebacker right now.
Yeah.
Then you go to the cornerbacks. You got Dax Hill and DJ Turner. Feel very good about those two. They had Josh Newton. He still hasn't kind of worked his way in yet, but the nickelback is technically Jalen Davis. I think a corner would be the second need for me, but maybe third, because safety, Jordan Battle and Cook. I know they just brought in Cook, and I don't hate it, but I guess I would still say specifically, I'll do specific positions in this show, the top 2 needs in whatever order you want to say. I'd say D lineman and nickelback. So if you're talking about draft, that's probably why you could use they're probably hoping for Downs.
Right. Yeah.
Because either one of them could do any of that, you know?
And I do feel like with how things are trending right now, again, we're still a month and a half out from the draft, it does feel like Downs and Thieneman will be in play at 10, because some people are still worried about Downs and his knee, and Thieneman is rising, but I don't know if he's risen past the 10 spot. I know, but he's number 1 in your heart, right? But he's not quite there overall. Cleveland Browns, man, they had some things to address, namely their offensive line, because a whole bunch of these guys weren't coming back. Now, they traded for Titus Howard. They went out and bought Elton Jenkins, who's one of the better centers-ish on the market. I am not as big of a fan of him as other people, probably because he played for Green Bay. And then they went out and got Zion Johnson. I probably overpaid for him when you're thinking about the guard market and how much guys, are necessarily worth. I mean, he's getting $50 million over 3 years, is a bit richer than I would have personally wanted to go for that. But basically what you have here is they replaced 3 of their offensive line positions, right? And potentially you can say Tevin Jenkins is going to come in there and stay as a starter. So they've mostly got their offensive line in some semblance of order now, given how many guys are still technically probably a free agent that hasn't gone off, stayed or gone yet. So the good news is they have bodies.
Beer burps.
The bad news is beer burps. But the other bad news is
real.
None of these are great bodies. They basically gave themselves, which it might be an upgrade to say that they gave themselves a league average offensive line. So from that standpoint, it's a positive, but you spent a lot of money to maybe have an average offensive line. That's not exactly encouraging, right? And when you look at the needs that this team had, that was a big one. There's no doubt about that. As far as where they needed to spend their money in the offseason. And obviously tackle was a big piece of that. You could say that the offensive line now is probably something they're not going to address, or at least as likely to address in the draft. They could hypothetically still use another guard at a high level, so that's certainly in play for them. But when you look at what they chose to do, they only added Quincy Williams on the defensive side of the ball. When you look at the other guys that they picked back up, that was literally the only defensive player that they've signed so far, which kind of puts them in a situation where they obviously feel good. They feel good about their D-line. They feel good about their linebackers. They feel good about the secondary, at least what they were able to afford. But this, to me, looks like one secondary spot is still going to be on the board. And this really does look like wide receiver is going to be a big focus for them at that 6th spot, because unless all of the linemen are still there at 6. If they get their pick of the offensive lineman at 6, they might go offensive line. But I'll bet if they don't get whoever their top OT is, they're probably going to punt that. They might. Could. That's what I'm saying. It's like, I think it's going to be wide receiver, O-line, DB will be the 3 things I expect them to do in the first round of the draft, somewhere in that ballpark. And they got 2 picks. They got 4 picks in the top 45. So Cleveland's once again in good shape to have some fun.
Pittsburgh, here we go.
Picks. I'm just going to continue with the Jets.
I'm just going to continue my gauntlet format here, and it'll be go quicker, so I don't go on a tangent like I did before. Quarterback, huge friggin' need, because we still don't know if Rodgers is coming back, right? So now you're looking at Rudolph and Will Howard. So
he probably will.
Running back,
because didn't Brett Favre do this at least like twice? So I think Aaron Rodgers has like one more in him.
He's trying to be him
before he completes the Brett Favre trifecta.
Yep. Running back. Also a big need to me. Caleb Johnson was a flop. Jaylen Warren is not a number 1 running back, which is probably why they brought in Rico Dowdle. But guess what?
Yeah, remember when you recommended I get him in fantasy? Yeah.
Who, Caleb?
Right.
Oh, it cut out. Who, Caleb? Oh, okay. You froze.
It's not working out for me.
You were stuck there. It did not work out for you.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah.
So both quarterback and running back needs.
Today.
Wide receiver, I don't think it's a huge need anymore. I mean, you got DK, you went out, you got Michael Pittman, Austin and Scotty Miller. Like you're okay there. Skronik, or no, because Austin and Scotty Miller
Roman
are free
could
agents,
still do something.
They still have
right.
Yeah, you still got Roman Wilson. You got the Skronik, and you
still hope.
But DK and Pittman, it's not a pressing need right now. Tight end, you're pretty set there with Freiermuth and Washington as well. We know that over the past couple of years they put in 3 good picks into this O-line with Brojo and Frazier and Fautanu. Right. So the O-line, and I'm okay with the O-line. I don't hate that. So offensively, really a quarterback and running back. Defensively now, one of the best D-lines probably in the league, in my opinion, with Harmon and Benton and still having Hayward there. Edge rusher, not a big need with Watt and Highsmith, and linebackers solid. You got Queen and Wilson there.
Even some people have been saying
back up solid.
Queen could get traded hypothetically. I've only been hearing rumors.
If he does, that would change it, but he's still there. And edge rusher, I almost skipped over Herbig too. He's there. Cornerback was one of the needs I had before, but they did bring in Jamil Dean, which is a great addition. So having Porter and Dean and Samuel and even Nichols, like they're doing okay there. Safety, Deshaun Elliott and Ramsey. I just don't know how much. I would say defensively, safety is the biggest need, but the biggest need is quarterback. But then we're talking running back and safety. What's that?
I was agreeing with you.
Oh, yeah. So that's where I'm at. Those would be the big 3 for Pittsburgh, the Steel City.
I mean, I guess we should wrap up with Baltimore here. The Ravens.
What they need is some integrity.
Ooh, well, I mean, you've thought that since, I mean, let's be honest, this is the team that left Cleveland in a lurch to begin with. Now, fair enough.
And I often don't offend an Ohio team, but I like Cleveland more than I like Baltimore. I'm just saying.
Oof, tough stuff right there for the Ravens.
2 teams in the state of Ohio, and I like them both.
Yeah, it is weird. Very weird. But the Ravens, again, obviously the deal that they backed out of for Crosby and then decided to make for Hendrickson for 112 could go up to 120 max with a 60 mil guarantee. It's a little bit less, I think, per year than what Crosby's making, but it's still a lot of money for a guy who's 31 and is coming off an injury and has been disgruntled. Now, mind you, part of that is because Cincinnati, I don't think, treats their players all that well personally. but just from the bits and pieces that I've read around there. But yeah, he's a huge help for a team that desperately
DJ Reader
needed
seemed to like him.
Oh, yep, sure. And again, there's always going to be a few that don't mind it, but when you see the report cards,
everybody and everything.
Exactly. Though. When you saw the team report cards, though, it didn't look good for them, right?
No.
The only other real addition that they had is they added John Simpson to the offensive line, which they needed help with the guard position, and so he's helping out with that a little bit. But they obviously have a gaping hole at center now, so very good chance to see them go that route in free agency if there's anybody they still like or more likely to draft. But again, as we've talked about, centers in the first round aren't really going to happen. That's more of a day 2 or even day 3 thing, depending on who they can grab. But again, the big question marks for them still for me, it wouldn't surprise me, actually, to see them maybe grab an edge rusher at some point later on as well, unless it's going to be a first rounder. This does up, I mean, you still have a lot of people thinking Vega at 14. That still makes sense for them to grab another guard. No doubt about that. I could see them taking 2 interior offensive linemen in this draft and maybe try to start 2 rookies, although that's terrifying depending on the team. But again, wide receiver definitely seems like it's still in play for them. And then when you look at the rest of the team on defense, the good news is they're in decent shape across the board defensively for this team, provided obviously they fit Minter's system the way they're going. So really, they're almost outside of interior offensive line. They can kind of go BPA at this point. It's kind of nice for them, especially since they have those first round draft picks back.
They shouldn't even have the pick, Stan. I'm salty. I'm gonna move right on. I'm going to Tennessee, man. Let's fire through this gauntlet. Quarterback, they're set. You know, they got Cam Ward. They brought in Trubisky too. Running back, here's the thing. Small tangent. A lot of people are starting to talk about, you know, with the 4th overall pick, it could be Jeremiah Love. And while I don't disagree, it could be. Hell, if I were there, I may even do it myself, depending on who goes above him. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't even rule it out even if I was a GM. That's just where I'm at with this particular draft class. But, dude, Tony Pollard is a good complementary piece, as is Tajay Spears, and Khalil Mullings can be like your hammer type guy.
Yeah.
Like they don't have like the guy. I totally agree with that. But like they have some capable backs to where this team's at. Like, are you really pulling the trigger on a running back right now? I don't know. But it's a need though. It's a need. Wide receiver. I'm still gonna go ahead and say this is a need.
Are you trying to tell me?
Wandale on 78 more than most people. I like Dio Manor more than most people. Ridley is like a roller coaster to me, man. Like you never know which version of Ridley you're gonna get. Wandale, I get it. He flashed last year in a few games with Jackson, but I'm not buying it. Like I look at all 3 of those guys and I'm like, you still just don't have the guy.
No, and also like Robinson being more or less the slot guy, unless they think he can go outside of it. DK was already doing your slot stuff.
I feel like they've got a decent wide receiver room, so I don't think they would go there. Like I will say it's a minor need, but I would still put running back above that.
Sure.
Tight end. I think you're good. Gunnar Helm showed enough to see and work with, and I like Bellinger a ton. I always have. He just needs to stay healthy, but he's a good complementary tight end at worst, you know. So running back so far, O-line. We already talked about Dan Moore. They gave him money to be the dude, right? And Skoronski, you know, good with that. And they brought in both Volson and Austin Schlottman.
There's a name.
I always messes. I know. So there's that. But you have got a hole at right guard.
100%. Yeah, unless Zeitler comes back.
Unless he comes back. So right now, right guard.
And he's a year-to-year guy.
Offensively, their biggest need. Because Latham is set at tackle too. So right guard's biggest need. Second biggest need would be running back. Third biggest need would be wide receiver for the offense. Defensively, man, they brought in some guys. They got Jermaine Johnson, you know, with a little Swaparooski there. So I don't hate that. You and I have always been higher on him. D-line, they brought in Franklin Myers, Elliott. They have Simmons there. I'm okay with the D-line now.
Right.
I had that as a super strength, but I'm just okay with it now, man. When they had Sweat and Simmons there, I was like, dude, that was a strength of the defense, dude.
Well, now you've got basically 2 penetrating defensive tackles, which could be good, but also could hurt them in the run game.
The other edge rusher was Olu. So Johnson and Olu there. I'm not an Olu guy, so I still think edge rusher is a need because, again, you can never have too many. Stupid old saying, but I don't know that they have two. Johnson, I don't know if he's like the guy.
I have 2 3/4 basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Linebacker, dude, I love some Cedric Gray. I know Barton, they could maybe upgrade a little bit, but Cedric Gray was my guy. But linebacker, edge rusher would be a need. Cornerback, they got Snead. They just went out and grabbed 2, so Flott and Taylor. So tells me they're thinking they're going to be okay there. Safety, Hooker and Winston. We'll actually see. We'll get to know what Winston's about. Hooker is okay-ish, but all things considered, I do think I got a breaking news thing about the Big Ten. They sent a letter to do insisting something, but I didn't read it. But to put a bow on them, because it went a little long, edge rusher, linebacker, those are probably the 2 biggest needs for me, other than right guard. If they don't solve that, right guard would be in there as well. So top 3 needs in whatever order you want. Just keep in mind they very well could take Jeremiah 11-4. I would not rule it out. If it's me, oh man, Sonny Styles is there. Could you imagine, Dan? We got Saleh as the head coach there. You can't tell me a guy that works with Fred Warner for so long is not going to see a guy like Styles and just be like, yep.
Right.
Sign me up for that. So I'm still – this is Styles or Reese for me. But, oh, man, well, it depends on what Arizona does. Because I think Bailey's going too. But anyways, this is a need show, not a mock show. You're up. What do you got?
Well, real quick, I was trying to find that Big Ten thing you were talking about. Didn't find that, but I did see a new NFL rumor talking about the Ravens' actual plan was to pair Max Crosby and Trey Hendrickson.
Oh, I see that.
To give both of them.
Big Ten insists the NCAA to impose a moratorium on investigations and infractions proceedings related to tampering.
Because the Big Ten is maybe doing some tampering of their own. Look, we all know that goes on, and that's a big mess. Dude, that is a big mess that is outside of our pay grade, but boy, it gives us a ton of great content. We'll get to that mess later on. We're going to focus on the NFL right now before we start talking about the college kids again.
We're fixing to have a 2-hour show here.
At the rate we're going, man. Indianapolis Colts. All right, this one's going to be pretty quick.
The gauntlet. I'm going to have to quit the gauntlet.
No, you can do the gauntlet. You just got to be quick with the gauntlet, man. We got to run. We got to fire through it at top speed like they do at the combine, right? So to run through the Indianapolis Colts.
Dude, we need to make our own take noise. Like when it's time for you to go, like a little draft. Ding, 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 ding.
Well, tell you what. Okay, Daniel Jones came back on a 2-year, $80-some-odd million deal. So they got their quarterback, even if he's not going to be healthy, to start, which means you're going to see some Riley Leonard potentially, which will make things entertaining for them. So quarterback's fine, running back's fine, wide receiver, they gave a ton of money to Alec Pierce, which of course led to our boy Brad using his little validated emoji that he likes to throw at us whenever things go in his idea, his way, because you and him had that bet with him and Christian Watson a few years ago.
Which I was even thinking about it. And wasn't it technically, well, I still argue that Christian Watson per game basis has been better than Pierce.
It's just fewer games. Several fewer games.
Yeah, he's basically got slightly better stats in fewer games.
Yeah, well.
But I thought the bet was Rashee Rice versus Pierce. But
no, it was definitely Pierce and Watson, but you, I think, had said that Rice was going to be better than all of them anyways. So
yes.
That's not exactly aging well, though, dude. Mostly because Rashee's still got to age a bit.
He's definitely the best out of all 3 of them. He's just, got to get his
availability, right? Yeah, that being said, okay, so Pierce is still in at wide receiver, and obviously they did move on from Pittman, which leaves a little bit of a gap there, depending on how you feel about guys like Laquan Treadwell and the other bodies that they have on the team. So I could see wide receiver being a need toward the bottom of the list, but still something they're going to target at some point in the draft. Offensive line is actually pretty well set. They're in good shape across the board for there right now. You could say right tackle. I mean, Jalen Travis is... they're expecting him to step into that role, which is one of the reasons why they were fine letting Smith go. So you could say that's a little bit of a concern just because you're not 100% sure. They will definitely grab some depth in the O-line in this draft. The other side of the ball, defense, dude, they picked up Arden Key, which if it wasn't for the fact that it was 2 years and maybe $20 million total, I would be concerned. But that's $10 million for an edge rusher that's kind of all right, is kind of all right. I'm not upset about that. It doesn't necessarily remove it as a need, though, for me.
Kind of all right is the best you can say.
Right, but that still shows me, like, unless Tuamaloau has got a move in him to jump up this, this edge board that they've got right now, I still think you need somebody else. Now, we both think he's going to be fine at the next level, but he's still getting his feet wet, so to speak, with that. And when you look at the rest of the defense, I still think because of the trade that they made, linebacker is definitely going to be something they're going to focus on in the draft. And again, they lost a corner as well in there. And so, depending how you feel about Travarius Ward and Kenny Moore as your other two guys there, I'd be basically looking at most of their work is going to be on the defense. Maybe right tackle rather, maybe a wide receiver, but definitely all levels of the defense is something that I expect the Colts to target with the picks that they have. Obviously, not a first rounder in this draft.
Jacksonville. Gauntlet time. This is my all-time one way or the other validated team. You can queue up Brad's little, because you could even go quarterback. I was huge on him, and he didn't look too great. Now all of a sudden he's looking great. Could be validated. I don't know. Running back. I was a huge Basal Tootin guy. We'll see. They let ETN go. Maybe you should have taken him instead of Caleb Johnson.
Yes, probably should have. Kind of wanted to, but and you took him.
So I feel quarterback set. Running back, I still feel like it's set for now. They don't need to do anything with that. Wide receiver, talk about another potentially validated. I said Brian Thomas Jr. was one of my most likely bust candidates.
He had a rough
torched
second
it his rookie year, and wow, it looks weird. And now he might get traded. I don't know what's going on there for the time being.
Neither of us were very high on him. You and I. Everybody else had him way ahead of where we had him. That being said, one hit, one miss for him so far.
Right. So I think between having Thomas, Myers, Washington, and even Travis Hunter who can fill in, I think they're set there. Okay. Tight end, I think they're set. That's another potentially validated thing because I really liked Brenton Strange. And now all of a sudden he's slowly putting in work, looking good. I like it. Offensive line, now we might get in some needs here. While I'm okay with Van Lanen, I'm okay with Cleveland, I'm okay with Harrison. What I'm not okay with is Hainsey and Makari. So center and right guard are offensively. So the interior line, huge need for me for the Jags. Okay, defensively. Okay, let's start with the D line here. You got Hamilton and Armstead. It's okay, but you could do some upgrade there. Edge rusher with Walker and Hines Allen. Come on.
Because you got Hines Allen, you're fine.
Hines Allen, yeah, you're okay there, in my opinion. Linebacker, they have got Olakun, who's great.
Just a beast.
Miller, I feel like you could upgrade. A Kaiser is solid as a backup, so D-line linebacker could be potentials there. Cornerback, dude, Brown. You've obviously got Hunter. Lewis, I can't ever diss on him just because go blue and all, but. It could be an opportunity. I've been saying it for years. We'll see what they do there, or what happens even with maybe a Jerry Jones.
Right.
Safety, though, I think is okay. Johnson looks like that could be a non-validated. We might have both been wrong there. Who knows? Antonio's better than we thought. Right. I like Caleb Ransaw as a backup. You really liked Lane as a backup. They got Murray above him, so I think safety's okay. But offensively, interior line, defense, I don't know. You could go D-line, linebacker, and cornerback. So that's tough.
Yeah, they got needs at pretty much every level. Houston Texans, man, they have had a wild run. I'm just going to give you a real quick rip. David Montgomery, Foster Moreau, Dalton Schultz, Trent Brown, Braden Smith, Ed Ingram, Daniel Hunter, Logan Hall, Naquan Jones, Sheldon Rankins, EJ Speed, Reed Blankenship, MJ Stewart, Kaimi Fairbairn, Kai Kroger. Those are all the guys that they signed or re-signed. They have been one of the more active teams when it comes to what they did in free agency so far. And it started before free agency because, good Lord, I'm going to quickly run through the gauntlet, right? Obviously, right now they still believe in C.J. Stroud. We'll see how long that continues for. David Montgomery is now their hope at running back. And while we love him as Knuckles, he's going to a rough offensive line situation, which I'll get to in a second. They're fine at wide receiver. I think they're fine at tight end. But their offensive line, which technically Braden Smith is the only piece that they brought in, you're telling me that Ed
often
Ingram,
injured.
Well, yeah, but yeah, exactly. He's often injured. You've got Ed Ingram, who was average at best in Minnesota, and now you're giving him solid guard money to be a not solid guard. Ariante Ursery still has potential to grow. He's the only guy on this line that I am not concerned about because he's young enough to still develop into something. I think
facts.
Jarrett Patterson is okay as well. Blake Fisher should turn into something at some point. He just hasn't. So I'm not quite sure what their plan is with him. But again, this is a team that needed to do a lot at offensive line and traded away a bunch and brought in one body. So I'm still concerned about them from an offensive line standpoint. That should very much be on their radar at some level in this draft. There's no doubt about that. On the flip side, again, they've sorted out the defensive line is solid across the board. Even their backups are pretty decent. They grabbed Logan Hall as a nice little depth piece for them there too. So not worried about that. Some people don't like their linebackers. I don't mind them. You could have an argument to maybe target that spot as well. And the corner situation, they're in great shape. Safeties, bringing in Breed Blankenship, who I think is a pretty solid piece for them too. So Houston's defense, again, I think is going to be in great shape. So, but when you're talking about the draft, I think the first need is offensive line. I think the second need is offensive line. And the third need is probably offensive line.
Yep.
So start there, Houston fans. Offensive line, we'll go from there. Let's go out east.
So just real quick, we are a quarter of the way through the teams, and we are halfway through our show. I just realized that normally when we do this, because we do it in halves, AFC one show, NFC next show. So,
I mean, do you want to do that? Or are we trying to do all of them?
No, because we got to do our mock. So we'll pick up the pace, see where we end up.
Let's go.
Patriots, quarterback, May, good. Running back, Stevenson, Henderson, good. Wide receivers, got to be good. You have 17 wide receiver twos, but it's got to be good. Offensive line, good for now because you got Campbell. You brought in Elijah Vera Tucker, Wilson. Wilson and Campbell super young. Owenu is good. Moses is good. He's just 35 next year. Right. I think I skipped tight end. Tight end's good. Okay, so offensively, I don't think there's any super pressing needs. Slide to the defense. I could use a D lineman. Edge rusher is a massive need, probably the biggest need.
But they brought Jeremiah Jones in. They're good.
Okay. Edge rusher is a massive need. Damn, I'm okay with inside linebacker for now with Spillane and Ellis. Okay with that.
Well, I know you're okay with inside linebacker.
I think I'm okay with all the. What's that?
Well, I know why you're good at inside linebacker because of who they got in their third string spot.
Well, yeah,
that's your boy.
Yeah, I know it is. I like it.
Well, Chad Moom action. He's at least going to be another special teams guy for them. There's no doubt about that.
And I think they could technically bring back Gibbons too, the little go blue. But I'm good with all their DBs too. Davis, Woodson, Byer, Gonzalez, Jones. That's all good. So to me, it's edge rusher and D line. You got to get in that front of that defense. Boom. Moving on. Who are you going with?
That's pretty easy. Let's talk about the Buffalo Bills. And again, the Bills, when you look at this team, obviously they're set at quarterback. There's never been a question there as long as Allen stays healthy. But at least now, if he's out, there's another Allen that can come in, right? Because they did help themselves out with their backup situation with Kyle Allen. Won't be quite the same if he's in that game. Running back, obviously, they're fine with the boys that they've got there. They got 3 usable pieces in there. Wide receiver, they finally went out and got a wide receiver, and DJ Moore, while he is a little bit older, definitely takes the pressure off of the rest of those guys. That being said, if Joshua Palmer is still listed as the starting wide receiver for your team, you need help at wide receiver. Palmer is talented, but has never been able to put that talent together, whether because of injury or production, whatever. Point is, wide receiver is still a need for them. When you're talking about the offense, the offensive line we're getting to the point where the questions for them more is depth than anything else because they re-signed Connor McGovern, which is good, but it also shows that they're not confident in Cedric Van Granger, who we liked coming out of college as a guy to step up and be able to fill in any of those spots. Also, they're still hanging on to Osiris Torrance, who you and I both liked as well coming out, and he's been intermittent in his time. So I definitely could see them grabbing an offensive lineman at some point in the first couple days of this draft. Jump over the defensive side of the ball. The big concern for them, because they got themselves an edge rusher with Bradley Chubb to kind of fill in the Bosa spot, right? And Greg Rousseau on the other side. So that's not bad, all things considered. The interior of the D-line, Deion Walker flashed. TJ Sanders should be good, but the thing for them is all of the depth is a question mark.
I love TJ.
Oh, yeah, and Deion Walker is a 4th rounder I liked as well last year, but they basically all their depth are free agents, so they still have to figure out what they're going to do from that standpoint. Bringing in some linebacker competition wouldn't necessarily be a terrible thing. Right now, they're rolling with Milano and Terrell Bernard, but Shaq Thompson's going to help out.
Milano's great. He's just getting older.
Right, and that's the thing. So it wouldn't surprise me if they add another body in there, although Dorian Williams flashed a little bit here and there too. When you look at the secondary, again, Tre'Davious White could step out. I think that they could. That's the biggest need for me for them in the defense is the secondary. So they add a nice top flight corner. They add a wide receiver, and the rest of it can be depth for you boys. Be good to go there, Baltimore. Wow,
words.
That was a lot of me trying to say cities. Buffalo should be fine next year.
Miami, please don't feel
Go
offended.
ahead. What a mess.
I might not do it with the rest of the teams. I'm not going to try to say this is the top 2 or 3 needs for you. I'm definitely not doing it with this team. Okay. Quarterback.
So many.
You're set because financially you just told me you are. Plus you have Quinn Ewers as a backup. So you're set. Mm-hmm. Running back, you're set. A-chain right, you're good. Mm-hmm. The rest of the offense is a need.
Yep.
Everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You need help at wide receiver. When Waddle's your only guy and he's had so many injuries in his career, you need help.
Mm-hmm.
Tight end, you were running Waller and he's not even on your team anymore last year.
Right.
You need help.
Mm-hmm.
Offensive line, I'm sorry. I was glad you took Savania. I think we both may have been wrong on that. Only time will tell. I liked him as a guard-ish. Yep. I did move him down quite a bit leading up to the draft, but still he was worse than even I thought he was at the time.
He had a rough year.
The whole O-line's a need.
Could be the adjustment piece, but still, yeah. I'm surprised they didn't do anything O-line related in free agency, like anything.
Dude, it's bad. It's bad. They only have like 5 offensive linemen on their team, and 2 of them I think are centers.
Right. It's not good.
It's not great. So their whole offense outside of quarterback and running backs a need. Mm-hmm. Defensively, okay. I start on the defensive linemen, I should say, the tackles. Yeah, you got Kenneth Grant, I like him. Phillips, I like him. You're okay. Edge rushers, and I mean Seiler's kind of a D lineman too. So
right.
Let's go ahead and count that. But your edge rushers, Uche and Robinson. Robinson was better than we thought.
Sure.
I like Uche. I think you might be okay there. Those are the outside linebacker type guys that fit this defense.
They fit the system, yeah.
Yep. The actual linebackers, Jordan Brooks, you're fine there. But then I feel like they just have like 3 backup guys. So like you could use another linebacker for sure. I don't have a ton of faith in pure starting Dodson, Gay, or Woodard. I just don't.
Mm-hmm. But more importantly,
all of the defensive backs.
Exactly.
Every single defensive back.
Except for one.
Is a need.
Storm Duck is still there.
Yeah.
Just love the name,
man.
Yeah,
but he needs to be like your DB6.
Right. And not your DB2.
He's DB1, isn't he?
Technically, given the fact that everybody else is a free agent.
I guess
right
they brought in Lonnie Johnson and Baker, but
though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then
your whole team's in need, Miami.
Well, and Miami needs a clean cap sheet because I think $150 million.
Yeah, they're in fire sale mode, and you're eating a ton of money for Tua. It's just you are what you are, right?
Yeah, they had better give. As much as I don't like giving a whole lot of anything to anybody who's been a part of the Green Bay organization, they better give that head coach hopefully at least a couple seasons before they worry about firing him. Because my goodness, he is going to have a bare cupboard. New York Jets. Well, hopefully Aaron Glenn gets at least one more season after this because
real quick,
I still like Glenn.
We can't get on a tangent about this. But did it make a lot of sense when you're in full fire sale mode to go throw the money at Malik Willis?
No.
He has nothing to work with.
No.
You're not going to win anything.
I understand.
Why not just let Ewers go and see if he was something?
Yeah. Now, I would much rather go the Ewers route next year.
Pick him? I would have picked almost any.
I think Willis did that because it's the one clear shot to start. Like anywhere else around the league outside of maybe
started him, dude. The Jets would have started him. Come on.
The Jets probably would have started him. Mainly because the Jets who we're talking about now have 5 quarterbacks
Steelers
on their roster.
Started him.
Maybe not. If Rodgers came back, they wouldn't have started him. But
maybe Rodgers
they probably would have taken him. Yeah, but yeah, here's what I will tell you though: the New York Jets, they're starting Geno Smith right now. Which is
you like that more than I do. I absolutely hated it. He was terrible last year.
I like it because they're getting him for $1.4 million.
I would have, dude. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I would have taken a shot at Kyler Murray if I were the Jets, number one. Number two, if you were going to go an older quarterback, I would have gone try to get Kirk Cousins.
Sure. Yeah, well, I don't know that Kirk Cousins would have gone to New York. I think he's smart enough to stay out of that mess that they've got there.
Hey, he's the type of guy with the mindset to where he could have handled that. And they've got the offensive line to protect him. They've got some weapons there. I can't get you on these tangents because we got to make time.
He's smart enough to stay out of it, though. Geno Smith didn't have a choice.
Bad decision.
Geno didn't have a choice. That was all the Jets. They traded for him. Now, the only reason why, like I said, I'm okay with it is because a little bit of money. But they have 5 quarterbacks in their roster right now, which really means they have none.
Nailed it.
Sorry, Hendon Hooker.
How do I get the thumbs up on this thing?
I don't know. I'm not sure. It was working great.
You do it. You do it.
Yeah. No, I mean, you can't force it, okay? That's not how Zoom works. If you put the thumbs up, if you want the thumbs up to happen, it doesn't just happen, You got to I don't know how it works. We'll come back to that. Running back, obviously, they're fine with what they did for Breece Hall. Yeah, you managed to you can put the thumbs up on your screen, but it's not the same, man. It's not the same as the bubble coming up. And again, they re-signed Breece Hall they kept him with the franchise tag, so they've at least got that to work with at running back. Wide receiver, I mean, they're probably okay. Could see that as a need, definitely, as an extra piece in there, depending on how you feel about Arian Smith and Adonai Mitchell. But they're not in bad shape there. Obviously, with Mason Taylor, they're perfectly fine, I think, at tight end. Offensive line, good. Not really fussed there. They got rid of, or didn't get rid of, but they let Tucker walk, and he was always a good piece to have if he was healthy. But the way things are looking offensively for this team, I will concede to you, they're not in bad shape if they had a competent quarterback, and that's a good question to see whether or not Geno is going to be able to be competent this year. But they spent some money on the defense, which is funny because they didn't exactly get high flight talent, but putting Devontae Sweat on the D-line is obviously a big piece for them. It cost them one of their edge rushers, so now you're looking at Harrison Phillips and Will McDonald, and of course we like Will McDonald, but I could still see edge rusher being a piece for them, especially at number 2. We've been talking about David Bailey being there for ages in that spot, and obviously Arvo Reese for other people, but man, that seems like a pretty solid, seems like a pretty solid option for them to slot one of those guys in there, because if they are still playing kind of a 3-4 as opposed to a 4-3, I could see where they talk themselves into Reese over Bailey, but I would still take Bailey either scheme.
Too, yeah.
Exactly. Demario Davis, who apparently is a bionic man, comes in at linebacker.
Almost as bionic as Levante David.
Right, exactly.
Real quick, side tangent. I know I just said don't do it, but I gotta do it.
Get it.
It was just hilarious. I read an article today about one of the beat writers from the Buccaneers saying that signing Alex Anzalone, who's already 31 years old, is not the answer at linebacker. I'm like, he's still 6 years younger than what you've been rolling out.
Right, exactly. And hey, look, I am. You're a bigger Anzalone fan than I am. I like him as a person, just less as a player. So, but hey, they needed help there.
He's a good coverage.
They got
He's a good coverage linebacker, man. And he's got instincts. He's all over.
We'll get to Tampa Bay in a minute.
Green dot type guy.
We'll get to Tampa Bay in a minute. Got to finish up here talking about Joseph Osai from Cincinnati. And again, that's the thing. Some of this stuff wasn't necessarily the player was what they paid. Demario Davis got $22 million for a 2-year contract, and that man might be getting AARP after next year, right? Ooh. And so when you're looking at the choices they made, none of them, I'm kidding, I wouldn't say that to his face, he crushed me. But the good news for them is none of the deals are really prohibitive across the board, so points to them for trying to maintain that flexibility, but a lot of the moves don't necessarily make you all warm and fuzzy. Like Nashawn Wright, Minkah Fitzpatrick, okay, but now he's been tossed from 2 teams in 2 years, and one of those teams was Miami. So
is he the new DB version of like Ryan Fitzpatrick or something? Is he trying to get one of every
it's a Fitzpatrick
jersey like hanging on his wall?
It's a Fitzpatrick thing. It's a rite of passage. You got to have that. So again, DB, edge rusher. I'm okay at linebacker with them.
I like how you're still trying to list them.
Right. And then offense, really, it's the wide receiver is definitely the need plus depth at O-line. So let's go out west.
Raiders quarterback. Is it? Am I allowed to say they're set there?
I mean,
or do I have to say it's a need? It's implied.
Right.
It's implied. It's Mendoza. So okay.
Right.
It's a need.
Yeah.
Quotation marks. running back set. Wide receivers definitely a need. I still like Jack Besh quite a bit. But even if he is what I think he is, it's still a need because he's the only guy. Sure. Tucker's okay. It's like
and Naylor could be all right.
Naylor, I don't hate it.
Well, this is his first chance to step up and be, a top guy. See how he does.
It's kind of a need. Okay. Tight end, definitely not a need. Bowers and Mayer, probably the best tight end room in the whole NFL.
Yep.
Offensive line, if you can guarantee me health, when you add Tyler Linderbaum and get a healthy Colton Miller on this O-line, it is infinitely better.
Oh, yeah.
Because Jackson Powers-Johnson, I'm okay with. DJ Glaze, you can start in a pinch. You can upgrade that. And so left guard and right tackle, you could upgrade.
Yeah.
But if the other three are healthy and playing like they are, it's not going to be anything like it was last year. Still a need.
Right.
So wide receiver, tackle, guard. Defensively. Okay. I am not my favorite D lineman that they have is probably JJ Peggs. Okay. And he's not starting just yet. I mean, he was 6th round pick last year. He's a developmental guy. So D line is a need. Edge rusher. I'm not a Tyree Wilson guy. Never have been. I like Kwity Paye. Maybe Tyree can be a 2. Kwity Paye is still kind of like a 2 to me.
Right.
It's a need, but it's not a need. So
Max Crosby's still on the roster.
Oh, well, I wasn't factoring him in yet. But yeah, if he's there, then edge rusher's super not a need with all three of them. You know what I mean? Linebacker, not a need. I'm going to go on a tangent and vent. It's not because Quay Walker always does something stupid or the fact that he was a Packer or the fact that I wasn't high on him coming out of college.
Right.
But I love that you brought in Nakobe Dean. Love that. And I instantly went, oh, man, when they bring back Devin White, Dean and White side by side is going to be nasty. They did Devin White dirty. He was one of the top 6 linebackers in the entire NFL last year. He's still a lot younger than you think. He was only 27 last year.
Right.
They did him dirty. So, Detroit, hey.
Right. Go get
him. Call him. Yeah, so now we're off the cornerbacks. Stokes, I've always kind of been okay with him.
He was a reasonable deal.
Kelly, okay-ish, but I mean, he's still kind of a free agent. We'll see. He's just like an exclusive rights or something like that. Johnson's a good pickup for nickel corner. I'm not super ecstatic about it, but he's solid. And Darian Porter, they can still develop, so they're doing okay at corner. Safety, I like Chin. Even though it seems like he's kind of fallen off a cliff, or he keeps getting just a little worse every year. His career's not it's not headed the right direction.
It's sliding.
But safety is definitely a need because I don't know how I feel about Polomoau. So again, I already said because of the length of the show, I'm not going to go back and relist these needs and organize them. But those are the needs. Safety's in there too.
Good gravy. We are, look, if we're trying to get all of these teams in here, warning, this will be the longest show we've ever done. All right. The Los Angeles Chargers, they did a few things to help out their offensive line, which they needed to. But real quick, Herbert, obviously you're good at quarterback. Hampton, even with Harris there, you're good at running back. Wide receiver, there's a world where you could try to grab another body, but with Trey Harris and Keandre Lambert-Smith back there, even if you move on from Quentin Johnson, I think you're still in okay shape there, although that could be somewhere they do look at. With Kolar and Gadsden, I think they've pretty much shored up tight end. So now the real question is, what in the world are they doing in the interior of their offensive line? Tyler Biadasz is just fine. I'm not worried about that. Cole Strange, I think, came over purely because Mike McDonald knows him. As Salyer stays, I feel a lot better about this. But Trevor Penning is a dude we love from a nasty streak, but not from an actual gameplay standpoint. So interior of their offensive line will still be a need that they address in the draft. And then the flip side of that, interior of the defensive line, yes, Tier Tart and Jamari Caldwell are good players, but they could use at least one more body on the inside, and they could probably use at least one more body on the outside because Khalil Mack is not getting any younger. Love him, but the man's, 35, 36, something like that?
He's still a baller.
He is still a baller, but you're going to be year by year with him. So D-end, DT, definitely priorities for them. Linebacker, you're probably all right with Henley. I think Junior Colson could step into that role there, although it would not surprise me to see them go after something in that area as well. And then when you look at the secondary, Cam Hart should be good this year. Tarheep still should be good this year. But again, another place where they could probably use at least one more player. So defense, the good news for them is they're okay across the board. but they could easily target a little bit of something at each of those levels. So between that and the offensive line, let's just say Brad better focus on those groups when it comes to who he's rooting for in this draft.
Denver time. Bo Nix, quarterback. Good. Not a need. Running back, I'm going to say it's not a need, and I could be wrong. We'll see. But I think between Harvey and Dobbins, if Dobbins can stay healthy, Harvey can, be part of a two-back system. Like they're going to be fine there. Wide receiver, they're good. Dude, Sutton, Franklin, Bryant, Mims, like I'm happy with all that. They're good. Tight end, I feel like they think they're good. I don't know if I think they're good. It doesn't seem like Evan Ingram is fitting well there, but he did flash towards the end. Troutman, is a Sean Payton guy, so I'm going to say they're good for now. And if we're talking O-line, I don't hate their O-line. So dare I say their entire offense is okay?
Yeah.
All right. D lineman. Need. Super need for me. I'm just not sold on the D line. I love Zach Allen if you're going to call him a D lineman. I do.
Right.
Love him, but I'm not huge on Roach or Wazarike. So not edge rusher, super strength. Jesus, they have 3.
Right.
Okay. And it's actually kind of working for them. They have Cooper, Benito, and Ellis.
Right.
Heck, I heard rumors they might trade one so they might trade Ellis.
Right, that's the word that's been out there.
I'll take him to Detroit.
Yeah, I was about to say,
sick.
Let's go.
Give me Devin White and Ellis. What are we doing? Linebacker, everybody says it's a need. Well, I don't wholeheartedly disagree with it, but they brought back Singleton, and they got Drew Sanders, who they're still trying to figure out what exactly it is. I know you and I were both high on him. It could be a need, but it also could not be a need. So
and Snad's not bad either, though, too, so they're fine.
What's that? Yeah, no, I don't disagree. So here we go. Cornerback.
Good.
Moss and Surtain are great. McMillan, he's all right. You could upgrade that, but he's all right.
Well, one more year for Johnny Barron.
And Jones
he might be able to be in
Skinner
that spot.
at safety. You're kind of all right there too, man. This team's just kind of good. So just to put a bow on this, dare I say, is D lineman is the biggest?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Need? It's interesting. That's a good roster, man.
They built the team well.
Must be why I don't see
it.
They haven't signed a single free agent.
They've only re-signed their own guys.
Agents. Yeah.
Yeah, they've only they re-signed.
That's a good
they re-signed Ellinger, Dobbins, Troutman, Singleton, and Stroud. So they basically just re-signed their own guys, which is a departure from them over the last few seasons. A team that needs to probably sign a few more guys, though. That's Kansas City Chiefs. They obviously got their running back in Kenneth Walker, so they're set at running back. Mahomes set at quarterback, clearly. Tight end, they're set at because Travis Kelce's back for one more year. And as long as they still believe in Noah Gray and some of the depth guys they've got, they're probably fine at the tight end spot. That was beer rip. Love that. Wide receiver, I think will be in flux until we find out what happens with Rashee Rice, so it would not surprise me in the least to see them put some capital towards that in the draft because, again, I'm not quite sure what they've got there. Then we finally get to talk about it. At tackle, we no longer have to see Juwan Taylor getting out there and getting snaps.
They finally
I've yet to see him get picked up. Yeah. He'll get someone will pay him somewhere.
Detroit, don't call him.
Yeah, no, don't call him, please. The rest of the offensive line, I still think I don't think Jalen Moore is a great tackle, but he's better than what they were working with before. Josh Simmons, who stays healthy, you're in good shape. So the line is probably all right, but it's still kind of one of those a little more fluid than you'd like it to be. Would not surprise me in the least to see them address that. Where they will be addressing on the defensive side of the ball, I still think they need one more edge rusher, but that's also because it just seems like so far Jalote and our boy Felix haven't quite popped for him yet. But I think they're in okay shape. The interior of the D-line, they're in pretty decent shape. The linebackers, I think, are fine. Between Tranquil and Bolton, I think they're doing just fine. But, man, the secondary, boy, they traded guys, and that's apparently, we joked about this, we texted, it's like it's a thing. Now, if you're a Kansas City Chief as a cornerback, don't expect a second contract. I don't care how good you're playing. You're not getting a second contract from them. That's not how they do things.
So that will be into their formula.
No, that almost guarantees you now at 9 that they're taking a corner. Like, I cannot see a world where that doesn't end up being
Mansour Delane going at 9. Well, they could take it could be like a Dylan Thieneman. I could see some because he could play like nickel or something too.
Or McCoy can go light up his pro day and everyone's fine.
Well, until I see that, I'm not going to say that.
But that's the big concern for me. Is there's some secondary pieces here and there, but the secondary is the primary, right? Real quick beer break before we jump into the second half, which is funny because we've finished shows in this time period before. But we are drinking this Thomas Hefferson, the Heffewiesen, and it is a Heffewiesen.
It is. I've said it to you.
Very
I don't know if I said it on the show, but it is my favorite beer that I've had from that brewery. They found, to me, it's absolutely vital that on a Heff, I get the banana note, and I don't want to have to search for it. It is the one thing where I want banana. It's there. Got it. But I don't want it to be like fake. Does that make sense?
It's also not a banana beer.
And I think they just crushed it. To me, a Hefeweizen is like this. It's a light beer. You know, I know you cracked a joke about the last show about me being shocked where you're actually talking about light beers, like light.
Like this is the right kind of light beer.
Yeah, but this, it's my favorite light style of beer to me.
Which is funny,
but they got to do it right. It's hard to do it.
Sure, but that's why it's funny because you'd think with this being a style of beer that's been made for hundreds of years that Americans would do a little better with the lighter, flavored beers. You'd think. Oh well, I have two to talk about real quick.
We're gonna do it even a long show. I'll tell you what. You talk about that. I'm gonna go get another beer because we got to lock her in.
All right, well, you get into that. I have got the Apple Saison to talk about from Broadleaf because I was there yesterday doing a little bit of trivia, and it is a farmhouse ale, so Saison, that kind of style. So it's going to be in the same European vein of the Belgians and the French and stuff like that. So it's got a little bit of the Hefeweizen character without that type of flavor. It's still more towards the ale side of things. But this Apple Saison basically tasted like an apple beer. But not like a Reds. It's like what Reds wished it could have been, kind of a thing. Kind of like we're talking about the light beers that didn't quite work out as Hefeweizens, right? Same kind of thing. So they did a nice job on that. It was a 3.25. And then I gave a 3 to a sour. It was a decent sour, but it was a little bit... there you
2 for 2.
There you go. Good work. Way to get us a little splish splash. The Sour Lake passion fruit, guava, and coconut.
Whoa.
So they got some coconut in there, but it didn't quite work as well as I wanted to. It wasn't bad. It was all right. I would have it again, but it wouldn't be something that I'd be putting at the top of the list. What did you just grab there? What's making you say, whoa, bud?
I don't know that I've ever poured an Old Nation B43 into a glass. I don't think I realized how light it is in comparison to the M43.
Oh, yeah, sure. Well, because it's more of the IPA, not the... Yeah, because that's the IPA, not the hazy IPA, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. For a second there, I thought I broke your brain. But yeah.
No, I was
Can't
reading.
go wrong with B43. All right, that's kind of where I'm at, though.
I didn't
is
fit
that
in the cup.
Which one is that? Is it the regular B43 or is that like the double dry hopped one? Or
Oh, just standard B43.
Standard B43. And again, for those of you who have not had Old Nation beer, if you're in the middle of Michigan or anywhere where that stuff is sold all over Michigan, or maybe you just want to come up here and have some beverages, B43 makes themselves, Old Nation makes themselves a very nice couple of IPAs.
Best brewery in my neck of the woods.
And one good stout, because I encouraged Jake to grab the Frander Claws because they still had some of those at the place we were at this past weekend. Frander Claws still slaps, man. It's good stuff.
Did he enjoy it?
He did indeed. He's not always a stout guy, but he was in the mood that day. All right, let's go out west to the NFC West this time. Where do you want to start? Niners?
We got to rip it. We always got to start at the Niners. Quarterback set with Purdy. Running back. I mean, it's still set with McCaffrey, but I will say this: they're going to have to find some maybe backups. We'll see with Jordan. I don't know. I don't believe it. They got it because Brian Robinson's gone, so they need somebody in case he goes down or someone just to relieve him. But it's not a pressing need. It's just something they got to do. Right. Wide receiver, it's not a need right now.
Till they get injured.
I think Mike Evans got a year or so, maybe. But yeah, you got Evans and Pierce.
He's got 3 in his contract.
I know. So those are 2 good wide receivers for your top 2. So not a need right now. Tight end, not a need when you have George Kittle.
No.
Beer burp. Offensive line. Man, Trent Williams, I get it, but they're also saying he might be on the trade block. Who knows?
Look, he's 38. He's really good, but he's 38.
He'll be 30. Yeah,
30-something.
He'll be 38 in the middle of next year. Yeah,
there you go. Yeah.
So yes, that's why I say need But left guard need because Barge, Buford, everybody's free agent. I'm okay with Brendel, Pooney, and McKivitz, but tackle and guard still are probably the biggest offensive needs. Mm-hmm. Defensively, sticking with the D-line, going the same order. I was never a big Alfred Collins fan. I do like C.J. West. We haven't seen a ton, so I would dare I say that the interior D-line is a need. Mm-hmm. Edge rusher, I mean, you drafted Mike L in the first, and you got Bosa coming back. Hopefully he's healthy, so it shouldn't be a need.
Keon White's still there, too.
Yep. So, shouldn't be a need. Now we go to linebacker. You got Fred Warner. I get it, and he's probably getting up there a little bit. But Warner and Winters and whatnot, like, it's not a pressing need. Like,
no.
If you got Fred Warner there, I don't even know that I care who the other guy is. If he's healthy, it's not a need. For quite a while, he's arguably the best linebacker in football. Cornerback. Love Upton Stout as the nickel. Absolutely love him as the nickel. Knew I would, too. Yep. Renardo Green and Lenore, it just feels like those are number two corners at best. You know what I mean? I think they could use like a stud corner for sure. Safeties, completely on board with all three of the guys they have there. Jair Brown surprises both. I love Mustafa. I like the Siegel as a developmental / backup safety. So, yeah, I would say, tackle, guard, D-line, and corner. They got some options. No,
that sounds about right.
Look at that. Look at that time. If we can do that time on all these.
Until you point it out, and then we got to slow down again. All right. So we're looking at Arizona, and I mean they started off with solidifying their quarterback situation by getting Minshew mania into the desert. I don't care what anybody says. I still love Gardner Minshew, and there might not be a better fit for a man with mustache and jorts than the Arizona desert. He's going to love it. Outside of Jacksonville, because again, the Jacksonville swamp was perfect for that. The Arizona desert, just about perfect.
I feel like he'd fit in like New Orleans too. I don't know.
Yeah, right. Look, anywhere in the South. He fit anywhere, but he definitely fits better somewhere where you can wear jorts all year round. And so far, so good for him there, right?
Such a huge
but yeah, when you look at the rest of the team, it's going to be between him and Brissett this next year, but they obviously don't have an answer at quarterback yet. I don't see them making that a priority personally for where they're at right now. I think they're going to wait a year before they address that. They brought in Tyler Algier at running back, so now they are absolutely stacked with backup running backs.
Yep.
Between Algier, Benson, Bam Knight, and to an extent, James Conner has been hit and miss when he's been a starter and also been healthy. So it's one of those things.
He's had some good moments, though, man.
Yeah. So the good news for them is if there's any spot to have a bunch of backups, it's running back. So it's actually going to work out for them.
San Fran could use one of any of those guys.
Right? Hey, who knows? Maybe they'll get a trade going. And then you look at wide receiver with Marvin Harrison, with Michael Wilson. I mean, Kendrick Bourne is fine. I could see them grabbing another guy there just because. And then you look at the offensive line. Matt Pryor isn't bad at tackle. I still think that's an area they could look at upgrading their right tackle, but obviously they think they're good there now. And grabbing Isaac Siomalo, who's older but still very effective, puts them in pretty good shape to where I think they really only need a guard now when you look at how the things are working out there. So guard is definitely a need for them, maybe a backup wide receiver, and obviously Trey McBride and Tip Ryman, you're good to go at tight end. On the defensive side of the ball is where they need to spend their money and their time and their focus. Roy Lopez obviously had a up and down year in Detroit, but I still think it's a fun guy to have on your team. Darius Robinson, you're hoping he moves up a bit. So the D-line is okay. I still think they could use another body in the middle personally, but I've been saying that for years. Edge rusher, here's where you're looking at something because you're talking about Zaven Collins and Josh Sweat. Sweat had a good year. BJ Ojolari is still there, but edge rusher really feels like a focus for them. And again, sitting at 3, another potential for them to grab somebody like not Styles, Arvell Reese kind of guy. I try to forget about him because we talk about him so much. I could see that happening, even if you and I wouldn't do that. And then when you look at the inside linebackers, you know what? Mac Wilson, Cody Simon, I'm fine with that too. Basically, they should take somebody from Ohio State at either linebacker or edge rusher is most likely going to be the situation. In the DB situation, they're fine. It's not great, but they're fine. Across the board, like that's not a bad DB room, especially when you have guys like Max Melton and Keaton Crawford as backups. So really, if they solve their edge rusher situation and probably another body of the defensive line, this team's roster isn't as bad as they played last year, in my opinion. I'm not going to put your New York Giants, they're a quarterback away from contending. I don't think they're there yet because they need to gel this whole thing. But this is a team, if I'm running this team, I don't worry about quarterback this year. I roll with what I got with Brissett and Gardner, see what next year brings, and then go all in on a quarterback next year for the future.
Well, Dan, I'm going to get us a little bit of time back, and please don't take offense to this, Rams fans. I've often said, I think I said the entirety of the season, you only had two needs, a backup quarterback and a cornerback. Well, you went and you got one of those. Two. No, you got two cornerbacks.
Yeah, one position
both
group.
KC. Yeah. Both KC.
Yeah,
unless we're talking about a backup quarterback being a top need, this team has no needs. They don't have any pressing needs. They don't. If they're picking at 29, they can take the best player available.
Well, they're not picking at 29.
Oh, yeah, that's that one they traded. Okay, so 13. That's even crazier. That's even crazier. They are not going to force anything there. I know that people, this is what I'll say for your sake. Everybody's saying Ty Simpson. I don't even know anymore. Because with as stacked as the QB classes last year, next year, they still might get one. They still could go Ty Simpson. Dude, I'm not going to rule it out, but they could just go best player available and make a friggin' run, dude.
If I am running the Rams, which I would have ran things so differently than them to this point, but I am open for business for 13.
Yeah.
Give me something for that. I will take an extra one again next year and have two first rounders next year that I can package for whatever quarterback I want.
100%. But here's what I want to say, though. I know that we were supposed to get time back with the Rams, and here we're not. The Rams have already shown the way they want to run this freaking organization is they just want to get a ring now and then figure it out later. That's why they gave up the world for Stafford, and it worked. They got a ring. So you're telling me all of a sudden their philosophy is going to change and they're going to take Ty Simpson at third? No, they are not. They're going to make a run and try to get another freaking Super Bowl ring, as they should, and then figure out the quarterback later. They just should. If they don't do that, then I would do what you just said, but I don't think they'll even do that.
No, they won't do that.
I think they're going to stay at 13, take the best player available that gives them the best chance of winning the Super Bowl this year. That's what they're going to do.
You know who they're going to take at 13, right?
Best player available?
Your boy
McCoy?
DT.
I don't know. Vitamin ain't making it out of the top 10, bro.
Yeah, we'll talk about him a little later on. Seattle Seahawks. Here's the thing. They have only had three guys that they've done anything with. They re-signed Rashid Shaheed. They re-signed Josh Jones. They re-signed Joshua Joby. So you can say that when you look at this team, to run through real quick, quarterback, they're fine. Running back, if Charbonnet stays healthy, they're fine, right? You could see them adding a body there. At wide receiver, they're good to go. Could add somebody else, but even with Torrey Horton and Jake Bobo, they're doing fine. Offensive line, I know you aren't as big of a fan of Lucas and Cross. They are. Those guys are locked in. They're good to go. You could make a conversation about grabbing a guard, depending on how you feel about Anthony Bradford, but otherwise, they're fine. A.J. Barner, Elijah Arroyo, they're good at tight end, too. So offense, no real needs. Again, they won the Super Bowl, right? Defense, this is where you could make a case to maybe you pick up another corner because you don't have the depth there anymore after Rick Woolen left. Maybe you pick up an edge rusher because DeMarcus Lawrence is getting older. Maybe you focus on grabbing another linebacker, depending on how you feel like Tyrese Knight is going to slot in there. This team, there's a reason why they're picking at the back end of the draft. They are in good shape. They've put themselves in good space cap-wise, and so they can kind of go BPA. But if I was going to focus on anything, I'd say a piece on the offensive line, maybe a running back, a depth guy at corner, and then an edge rusher. But edge rusher is probably the one that I would focus on for them at the end of the first round. We'll see whether or not that makes sense. Let's go to the East. East first. Do this in order, sir.
I hate that.
I know you're trying to skip your least favorite division.
Let's start with the Giants.
The Giants.
Quarterback, set. Jackson Dart. Running back, set.
It's the scat man.
Here's the thing. Yeah, but he can't. The way he plays football, he has to be part of a two-back system. But I think they have that because I like Tyrone Tracy. A lot of people like Tyrone Tracy. And I like Singletary and I like Eric Gray. But there's a lot of people saying that the Giants, if the Titans don't take Love, they could. I'm like, really? I get it. Maybe they could, but do they need to? I don't think they need to.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
I totally agree. So I'm going to say set with a question mark because I don't know if they think they're set. Sure. I think they're set. We'll see. Wide receiver, super not set. Super not set. They have neighbors who coming off of an injury.
They have so many bodies.
So, yes. I don't know if taking one of the wide receivers over Love makes any sense, because I would 100% take Love over all the wide receivers. The only reason I would say Love would make sense there is because he can contribute in the receiving game too.
Right.
But you get it. Maybe the Giants are a trade back spot. Who knows? Different show. Offensive line. Love Andrew Thomas. All right-ish with Runyon. Schmitz I like. They definitely need a right guard. Maybe
they got Evan Neal back.
Be that. Maybe he can do that. I don't know. Jermaine Illuminor. He's not the guy, but I can't call it a need because they just paid him like it's not a need. And I know they got like him Bo as
they
Bo.
didn't pay him a ton, so that's the only saving grace there is you only gave him like $13 million a year.
I'm going to say offensively, wide receiver, interior line, biggest needs. Boom. Moving on. So, and that basically summed it up. I was set on giving them Maui Noah.
Sure.
But now what? Unless they're really going to take a guard that high, they're not going to do that. And they're not going to play him in guard. Like, he could be a perfect right tackle, but they just, no, they're not going to do it. Something tells me they're not doing O-line. All right, defense. I love Dexter Lawrence. Man, I love Dexter Lawrence. And Darius Alexander is drafted. I'm not going to call D-line as a need. No. Edge rusher. Most stacked edge rusher room in the league.
Right. Trying to trade one.
Linebacker. They just went out and got Edmonds, and while I still think maybe if Styles was there, he could be there because you could like upgrade from Masao. How do you say his name? Darius Masao.
Yep.
You could upgrade that, but they don't necessarily have to. I'd say linebackers biggest thing in defense so far. Cornerbacks, you got Paulson. You brought in Newsom. I like Paulson way more than you. They have Banks. It's not working out, but now he's a backup-ish, and that's probably a great spot for him. Phillips. So I don't know that cornerback's a need. Safety, I'm not going to call a need because I love Tyler Nubin. And Holland, I still like him quite a bit, but he's on the wrong end of his career. So linebacker, wide receiver, and interior line. So that means Styles or what? Tate at 5? Moving on. Different.
Yep, that sounds right. That definitely sounds right. I just want to point out that Paulson Adebo was below average last year. Just want to point that out. Sweet. All right. So the Philadelphia Eagles have had themselves an interesting offseason, mainly because of who they lost more than who they gained. Do they have
the same salary cap? Sorry, I'm jumping on your take and interrupting you. I'm convinced they have a higher salary cap than the rest of the league.
No, they just find ways to massage the salary cap that are less
they're
obvious.
Going to be absolute. I haven't dug into what they're doing, but in a couple of years, they got to be absolutely cooked. They got to be in like cap hell.
Well, that's the thing. It's like that's the difference between this and baseball, where you can defer everything, forever and a day. But yeah, they are currently they currently have like 13 mil in cap space right now, and they manage their dead cap better than other teams.
That must not have the Tariq Woolen in there. Anyways, go ahead because we got it.
Well, again, Reek only did the one. It does have Tariq in there. The 1 year deal with a max of 15, which means it's less than 15 against the cap right now. Davis
they
is
have
the big
400 million cap. I'm convinced.
Jordan Davis is the big one. They basically put a 3-year, $78 million extension on his 1 year deal that he's got with $65 million guaranteed. So that's their big piece. But again, set at quarterback, set at running back, set for the most part at wide receiver, depending on what happens with A.J. Brown. Obviously, that's a huge piece of a what if things change there. Set right now on the offensive line, but again, I expect them to grab at least one body there because Lane Johnson won't last forever, right? And then so the offense is maybe you're grabbing a tackle. Be about the only thing, maybe a wide receiver. That's pretty much what you're looking at. Defensive side of the ball, man, this is where it gets fun because they're putting a lot on Nolan Smith and Jalix Hunt right now to be really, really good edge rushers, which is why I expect them to go and grab an edge rusher. With Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis and Moro Ojomo, they're fine on the defensive line. Even with Ty Robinson, a boy that you loved coming out as a later round pick coming out of Nebraska last year.
He's a great developmental guy, yeah.
Sure. So they're good. They're in good shape there, but they desperately need to do something about their edge rusher situation. They're fine at linebacker. You go to the secondary, obviously good to go. They're expecting Reek Woolen to step into that other spot, and him as a secondary guy, I think, is still okay for you. And you've got a couple other pieces like Michael Carter and Mac McWilliams, Sidney Brown, and Keely Ringo. So this is a team that if they can get their heads out of their, feathers, will probably be just fine next year. But I would say it would not surprise me to see them grab another guy in the secondary just to see if they can develop somebody else. But edge rusher really feels like it has to be their focus this year in the first round. Like that I can't imagine them going a different direction now, unless you want to make the conversation that we have about going Kenyon Sadiq, even though I don't think tight end is as big of a need.
I like giving them Sadiq, man. I do.
Yeah. Well, who doesn't like that? Everybody else in the division. So talking about those Cowboys.
Sure. All right, quarterback, not a need. You got Dak there. Running back, they don't think it's a need. I think it's a need, but they just paid Javonte. Well, here I'll tell you this: if somehow, some way, Jeremiah Love were there at 12, Jerry Jones will sprint to the podium.
Oh, yeah, he would knock everybody out of the way, which is fun for a man of his age.
Right. I don't think he'll be there. I'm just saying they would take him a heartbeat.
He will not,
because he would love that. Oh God, that'd be like the scariest offense in the league, wouldn't it?
It would be nuts. There's no doubt. Huh.
Okay, wide receivers again. If you're talking about 2 wide receiver room, arguably the best in the league with Pickens.
They're right there
and Lamb. It's right up there.
Yeah.
Tight end, Ferguson and Scoon. Sorry, I had to do that. It's a Michigan thing. Schoonmaker. So it's set there. Offensive line, Guyton. We're not fans of him. He's still too young to give up on when you spend a first-round pick on him. So Smith, like him there, like Beebe, like Booker. And Steele, I don't hate it.
No, that's an area where they could look at.
They could upgrade it, but I don't think I would call it a need, but they could upgrade it. So offensively, set, right?
Mm-hmm.
Interior D-line, Clark and Quinn and Williams, arguably the best interior D-line in the league.
Right.
Edge rushers, you got Izaraku, you've got Gray, and you got Digizua.
Well, he just got traded.
I don't want to skip over him. What's that?
I believe he just got traded today. I believe so.
Oh,
I thought I saw that, but I could have been getting his name confused.
Either way, if you got Clark and Williams, I thought they just put him on the trade block, like they were open.
Yeah, maybe it was just the block.
Because they have Clark and Williams. But either way, D-line not a need. I think we can say that. Gary and Izaraku, edge rusher. I don't think that's pressing need at all right now.
See, I told you I thought I heard that they traded into the Niners for a 3rd rounder.
Oh, jeez. Well, we'll see what they do with it. Change the Niners take a little.
It helps out a little bit. But
D-line was one of the right. They still need D-line in San Fran, but missed that one. My apologies, y'all. But I don't think edge rusher's a pressing need now either. Overshawn and Murray, linebacker. That's probably the biggest need on the team right now.
Which is why we've been talking about
Murray's a
Styles
free agent,
forever.
so it's Overshawn and Shamar James. Biggest need by far. They are dying for Styles, and I don't know what's going to happen.
And he's not going to be there at 12.
Bland, Chavon Revel, finally get to see him. I don't know how, and Reddy Stewart was one of my super sleeper guys that I liked a lot.
Right.
I'm stoked to see what happens there. And they even got Carson still as a developmental guy in the back. I don't think corner's a need for them, dude, at all.
Okay.
Safety, they brought in Thompson. They still have Hooker. And they brought in Locke. I don't know that I'd call that a need either. Are they just all in on a Mike linebacker, and then they're just all of a sudden, like, if you put Styles on this team, dude, they got that division. It would be scary if Daniel stays healthy. I don't know if that's where you're going next. And they got Love at 7. Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh man. Has anybody mocked Love at 7?
Yeah, some people have. A lot of people are talking about it now that when you look at the teams that paid for running backs.
I never have.
Yeah, well, that's because
I've never even heard it. That's a crazy good fit.
That's the most recent thing. That's what people have been talking about this week after seeing the teams that have grabbed a running back.
Crazy good.
Yeah, Tennessee and Washington are the 2 most likely destinations everybody's throwing out there right now. The Washington Commanders, by the way, the team that is set at quarterback, if you think about Jaden Daniels being healthy, but even with Marcus Mariota as a capable backup, right? Running back, clearly not settled. Clearly an opportunity for them to take a guy like Jordan Love, so definitely on the radar for them, even if I think they have bigger needs. They might not. They might just want to take what they think is the best player on the board. Because when you look at wide receiver, it's in flux. They're not bad, but they're not great is kind of where they're at, right? Terry McLaurin, Luke McCaffrey's okay. Debo might not hang around. So you could definitely see wide receiver being a pretty big need for them as well. They locked up Tunsil when you look at the offensive line. They need at least one more body on there for me personally to try to solidify that, especially in the inside. They believe Chigakonkwo is the guy, and he has potential to be.
I just don't.
Yeah. Now, again, I'm not
even when he's in Tennessee, I never did.
Dude, you and I both like Ben Sinnott better, and he's buried on the depth chart now. So That happens sometimes. But offensively, tight end certainly a concern, but I think wide receiver and running back are the two big ones, along with interior of the offensive line. On the defensive side of the ball, now you get to talk about Odafe real quick.
Dude, that contract is insane. I don't want to talk about it because we're going so long, but that just, I can't.
Good for him.
Hopefully that works out for him, but man.
You're paying a guy.
He was getting that kind of money. I did not think he was getting that kind of money.
They needed to pay for guys, right? Here's the thing. They got Cle'Veon Chason on a 1-year, $12 million deal, which kind of felt like, okay, that's not so bad. So how does the same team that gets 1-year prove-it-ish deal, maybe a little high, but still, then also sign a guy who's never really had anything resembling double-digit sacks? The projection. You basically said, here's $100 million.
Basically the same guy.
Yeah. Here's $100 million. Be who we hope you are.
And actually, really as prospects, I think I probably like Chason at least just the same because Owe didn't do anything in college.
Well, and that's my point. Even when he did with the Chargers, he was all right at best, right? When we had a little run, but that was about it. And then you look at the interior of the defensive line is still fine, though. Between Kinlaw, Payne, Jason Newton, they're good there, right? So I'm not worried about that. But edge rusher, they definitely, in my opinion, could use another body because when you look at everybody else that's on that list, it doesn't inspire a ton of confidence, so to speak. So I still think they could be in the market for an edge rusher, though probably won't be in the first round now. Linebacker, Leo Chenal is a great pickup for them. The fact that they could probably use another guy in there as well. Although, shout out to Nick Bellore for somehow still being on a roster after all these years. I'm very proud of him.
I didn't even know that.
Little fire up Chips, continuing to be a great special teams ace, and very proud of him for carving that out on both sides of the ball. 'Cause he's been a fullback at times for people too. When you look at the secondary, they brought in Amik Robertson, who's going to be able to be a nickel corner like he should be. The problem with that I have is that wasn't Mikey your nickel? Why are you trying to force him to be on the outside?
Here's the crazy thing: they're both super tiny, but I kid you not. I was trying to figure out if my eyes were fooling me, but I went and looked at like their PFF grades, and maybe I read it wrong. Mm-hmm. Both of them grade out better on the outside, and it makes no sense.
Okay. Hey, if it works out for him, it works out for him. Trey
one of them's got to play on the inside. And
right. Or maybe they're just going to do half and half. We'll see what happens, right?
Maybe. I don't know.
So I still believe that corner could be a need for them. Pick up Nick Cross, helped them out in the secondary. So secondary in general, they can use one more body and give themselves some flexibility. But I still think they need to focus on edge rusher as well as that offensive line. Let's go south. Now you can talk about the Bucs.
Now I can talk Tampa. So I was thrown off. Apparently, my webpage here says for my draft sheet, this browser versions no longer supported.
Whoops. You probably should have updated your Chrome by now, bud.
Apparently, that's what it's telling me. But anyways,
whoops.
Tampa, quarterback, Baker, set. Running back, Bucky, set. Because you got Tuck there, too, and you brought in Gainwell.
Yep.
Wide receiver, crazy to me that you lose Mike Evans. Still set.
Sorry. Still fine.
Yep. You got Godwin and Egbuka and McMillan and Tez. You're still set. Tight end, they brought Cade Otton back. I think they're okay. I wouldn't call it a need, but I wouldn't say they're set. Yeah, I'd say they're okay. The whole O-line, I love this O-line. I don't know why, I just do.
Even with 32 and a quarter inch arms.
Tackle, nope. I still love this offensive line.
There you go.
I mean, anytime you get my boy from Iowa, Wirfs, you get a Michigan guy in there. You get a guy that just looks like he came off the farm, and you got a fire-up chip in there. Like, where you go wrong? And you got your boy Barton I left out who can play any of the positions on the O-line. I love this O-line. I don't know.
Yeah, they're in good shape.
Probably, I'm more confident in them than they actually deserve, but I still love this O-line.
Yeah, Baker loves them
defensively. Yes. Defensively, dude, I still am not going to – Vita Vea is a monster. I'm not giving up on Kancey. They got Elijah Simmons. D-line, or I meant well, they do have Elijah Simmons, but I was thinking Elijah Roberts.
Him too, Elijah.
Maybe outside-ish, but I don't know. I love the interior D-line on this team. Outside linebacker, absolutely not on board.
Major need.
I love Yaya, but he's your number 2. Major need by far. Linebacker, even though signing Anzalone, still a major need by far because was he the only linebacker? Dennis?
I mean, yeah, Dennis would be the
still
other
on
one,
the team. But yeah, so edge rusher, linebacker, still a major need, even though they brought in one. Cornerbacks, I don't know how they've lost Carlton Davis and Jamil Dean over the years, and they're still okay.
Right.
Like, I like McCollum. I like Morrison. I like Parrish. It's all those mid-round picks that they've just been crushing with the DBs. They're okay.
Yeah, they've been hitting on them.
I hate to say it. They are.
Right.
Safety, they're okay. I love Winfield. Hopefully he can stay healthy. And Tyke Smith seems to be a little better than I thought. This team, it's not as like Dallas where it seems to be only an inside linebacker. But this is edge rusher and linebacker, man. Go get them.
Yeah, and the one thing that Tampa does have in their back pocket is David Walker was hurt all of last year, so he can come in and give you some edge rush help too. So he's coming in basically as a rookie next year. That'll give him a hand. The Atlanta Falcons decided left is the way to go as they double up with the lefties with Michael Penix and Tua Tagovailoa. So they think they're set at quarterback, even though they have two incredibly injury-prone lefties at quarterback. So let's see how that works out for them, right? Running back, obviously, it's Bijan. The joke is like, why do you even need a quarterback? Can Bijan just not take the snap every game? Be good to go. Might be better off, actually, if you try to just run Wildcat the whole season. I don't know. Wide receiver, they think they're set. Again, Jahan Dotson and Olamide Zaccheaus are fine, but I still think they need to grab one more there. Drake London's obviously good to go. The offensive line, they think they're set, and I'm fine with it. I don't think they're in bad shape across the board. Obviously, the tackles, I feel like, are the strength. Master Bergeron is getting better at guard. So, yeah, I'm okay with the offensive line. I'd say wide receiver is the big thing on offense if you're not trying to figure out on the quarterback situation. Defensively, though, this is where it gets fun because the interior of the defense is okay with Ohoro, with Brandon Dorlus, with Zach Harrison. I feel good about that. It's the edge rushers that we thought they had it fixed, right? We thought they had it fixed with Jalen Walker and James Pierce Jr., but James Pierce Jr. might be fixing for some cell time. Don't know what's happening with him. There's a good chance he might not be playing, so that's one of the reasons why they grabbed Azeez Ojulari to help out. I still believe that edge rusher could be a need for this team. I thought we were done talking about it, but not anymore. And then when you look at the secondary, yeah, it's good. It's not great for me, right? Billy Bowman was fine last year, even if he's a little bit undersized for that position. Jesse Bates is solid. Mike Hughes is okay. A.J. Terrell is fine. I would say to me.
I will not. This aggression will not stand. Slander. I said slant. That's slander. You're slander. Terrell, come on. He's awesome.
Okay, he's awesome. I'll give you that. But point is, I was thinking about him being good and the rest and everybody else being okay, and that's kind of where I got the fine thing. So my point is, I think they need one more corner, personally, or a hybrid kind of guy that could.
They could be a prime candidate to take his little bro.
And they could be. And again, he would be a guy that could slot in at your other corner spot, maybe push Hughes to a safety and give you some more flexibility there. Although Xavier Watts, Jesse Bates. Look, I still think they need one more, and I think that teaming up the two bros could be a very interesting look for them. That being said, that edge rusher, wide receiver, this team, again, is in okay shape, but they need some things to move the needle, and we also aren't quite sure what their plan is long-term with Kyle Pitts.
Quick beer burp. My apologies. That's what happens when you have 2 pints on a show.
Right.
Carolina, Bryce Young. Set?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
It's okay. They got Kenny Pickett.
Enough to where you... Well, baby and Pickett. He's shown enough to where you got to give him the shot. So it's not you're not... It's set for this draft.
Mm-hmm.
Running back. Again, I think that's set for this draft.
Yeah,
because I think they're going to give one more go at Brooks to see what's going on.
I
love Chuba Hubbard as a number 2 back. So if that works, we'll see. And then they have Trevor Etienne. So I think, like I said, I think they're set for this draft. See what happens, figure it out, but it could be a need. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
Wide receiver, I think I'm the only one in this camp. It's set.
Right.
I love.
When they grab Mechie as well.
I love Coker, and then they bring in Mechie, and you still will see what happens with Leggett. I think he's set.
Right.
I had that. I thought that before Mechie. Actually, I don't even think Mechie moves a needle for me, to be honest with you.
There you go.
That's just me. Tight end, I'm not going to give up on Sanders. I know most people are kind of putting Tremble in as the guy, but I'm not giving up on Sanders. I've seen the flashes, so I'm kind of
Mitchell
okay
Evans
there.
wasn't bad either.
Nope. Offensive line, Icky, love him. Lewis played solid. They brought in Fortner. Hunt was okay, but you still have Zavala as a potential developmental guy behind him. And Moton was pretty solid too. So I say that I'm okay with their O-line for this draft as well too. So offensively, I'm kind of okay.
Mm-hmm.
D-line, love Derek Brown. Assuming he's healthy, he's one of the best in the game when healthy, right? But I still think they could use an interior D-lineman type guy. Between Wharton and Brown, like, I don't know. I'm just not 100% sold. So D-line, biggest need so far. Edge rusher.
I mean,
do I have to vent about Brian Burns again and how stupid that was? One of
are
the
you trying to
dumbest things
tell
I've
me
ever seen.
You'd rather have Brian Burns and his contract and the picks than Jalen Phillips?
Yeah. Well, Phillips is a solid edge rusher, just always hurt.
Yeah, he's a good
complementary
complimentary
I thought
piece.
He was. Patrick Jones II, love the guy. He just doesn't ever seem to get to have the full shot to see what he can do.
Right.
So I don't hate their edge rushers, but
They got
don't
Princely
have, like,
in there
the
as well.
guy. Yep, and they got Princely. So I don't
you're
hate
right.
it at all.
They
just
got
have
about
a bunch
4
of
number
could-bes.
2s.
Yep, 100%. Their edge rusher room's the Patriots wide receiver room.
There you go.
Linebackers, I'm okay with what I've seen from Wallace, and bringing in Devin Lloyd, I'm sorry, that was massive. Absolutely massive. Linebackers set.
Huge pickup.
Love it. So I'm still going D-line here. This is the biggest need so far. Cornerback, Mike Jackson, J.C. Horn, Smith Wade. Smith Wade was a little better than I thought. Horn, I do like Horn again when healthy. Jackson, I don't know. I'm okay with it. Like, they could upgrade or just get another body in the room for sure. Even, slide over to safety. Love Trayvon Moore. I do. I like the potential of Latham Ransom. I know you love Isaiah Simmons. So I don't know. I'm kind of leaning D-line or maybe even just corner. Like, at this point, let's just say best defensive player available.
That sounds good. That seems like the right way for them to go. New Orleans Saints obviously feel good at quarterback for at least this year with Tyler Shuff there. They seem to think they're awesome at running back because they paid Travis Etienne. This is another team that you're wondering, do they play with a different salary cap than everybody else? And it's just because they've made a habit of kicking the can down the road. Alvin Kamara might be gone. He might stay. They've got Devin Neal and Kendre Miller and Audric Estime. So they have a stacked running back room that they just don't know what they're doing with yet. The wide receiver room,
they might move Kamara, though.
They could. I think if they can find the right deal, they will. But there's a lot of people probably expecting.
Doesn't it feel like, what if
what'd
Kamara went to the Cowboys? I'd be pissed. That'd be so good.
I mean, he'd love it for a year.
What if he went to San Fran?
Yeah, it'd be perfect.
Kamara
The guy who gets hurt
and
out there.
McCaffrey, they play like pretty damn close.
Yeah, 2 of the most injury-prone running backs in NFL right now.
John Lynch, call me, man. I got some ideas for you,
Let me just tell you, if those boys stayed healthy, put both of them on the field at the same time. Wouldn't matter who your wide receivers are. Be good to go.
Man.
It does matter
like
though it does matter for the Saints about their wide receivers because right now Mason Tipton and Devon Vele are considered starters, and that's not what you want. So huge need at wide receiver outside of Olave, who managed to stay healthy last year. O-line, obviously tackles are good with Fuanga and Banks. Interior could definitely use a little bit of a nudge, in my opinion. They did grab David Edwards. Eric McCoy is all right. Cesar Ruiz is probably, even he's only been in the league for 6 years, still kind of feels like he's on his way out. He's always sort of been towards the back end. And then you look at tight end, they got Juwan Johnson. They grabbed Noah Fant, and I don't know what they're doing with Taysom Hill, but they're probably thinking to set at tight end. I could see them grabbing a tight end, though. Pass catchers seem to be the thing, as well as maybe an interior guy. Defensive side of the ball, my boy Brian Brzee still getting the starting nod right now. Still not confident with him. Obviously, defensive line is a big need, in my opinion, for this team. They have some potential bodies there with Vernon Broughton, guys like that, but I think that that's definitely an area of concern for them. And pass rush. Yes, Cameron Jordan is great if he comes back and gives him another season, but they desperately need somebody else to step up. Fiddle Diggs didn't do a whole lot last year, but outside of Chase Young, you're still really hurting. Linebacker, they're good to go. I mean, they brought in Caden Ellis. They got Pete Werner. Danny Stutzman is hanging out, ready for his chance. Not worried about them at all there. At the corner spot, Yadam is okay. Kool-Aid McKinstry had a better season I think we were expecting. Quincy Riley was a nice addition for them. Jonas Sanker is great at safety. I know you loved him. And Justin Reed is good. They could probably use one more guy in the secondary. But, man, they figure out their pass rush opposite Chase Young and give themselves some more bodies on the defensive line. It's D-line on the defensive side of the ball. Wide receiver is the big piece in the offense for this team. North.
All right. Last division we got there, Dan. We're making it, dude.
Hope everybody's sticking with us.
start with Minnesota. I'm going to say set at quarterback. Because I haven't completely given up on J.J. McCarthy, but I feel like it's a done deal that the Kyler Murray's coming there too.
There's a good chance,
So between the two, set for this draft at the very least, right? Running back, need. They just brought Aaron Jones back because they're worried. They got him and Jordan Mason because they're worried. There's not the running back draft. Love's not making it to them.
Nope.
So
they'll grab a depth guy.
It's a need. Wide receiver, man. I am not going to say a need because Justin Jefferson's Justin Jefferson. Addison's way better than I ever thought.
Sure.
And I loved Ty Felton as a developmental guy. He might have just got launched into a starting-ish type role way quicker than he's ready for. But, okay, let's saddle up. Let's see what happens.
Right now,
here.
They got 4 guys on their roster at wide receivers, so they will be grabbing bodies.
It's a need, just not an early need. I'm not going to call it a need. Tight end, not a need. I mean, you got Hawk and Oliver. I like that a lot.
Some people were talking about Hawk being a cap casualty, but it looks like he made it through.
Well, it could be. Offensive line, the same old story. I like Darisaw a lot. I like Jackson as a pick. Brandel played pretty solid, but Fries and O'Neal, they paid, so you can't call. And O'Neal played well. I can't discredit that. Fries did not.
Fries, that's my validated spot. Sorry, Will.
Right, but not a need. Because financially and draft capital, you've put that in there. It is what it is. Let's see what happens. So
they'll grab somebody.
Running back.
Mid-round.
Offensively, running back. Defensively here. Man. This D line, they don't have anybody that I'm
They don't,
high
do
on.
they?
Well, a lot of people were high on Ingram Dawkins from last year just because he was a guy who
a tweener.
Wasn't big enough to play D-line, little too big to play edge rusher, so tested well with the D-line because he probably should have been with the edge rushers. Yeah, tweener. It's weird. D-line, massive need for me. Did Greener get traded today? I thought
not yet. They just keep talking about it. Maybe he did, but they just keep talking about him getting traded.
Either way,
because I was wrong in the other one.
You would still have Dallas Turner there. You got Van Ginkel there. I think they're okay at edge rusher still. Linebacker, they're okay. You got Eric Wilson, Cashman, Ivan Pace. I'm okay with all of that. So D-line so far. Cornerback, they bring in Pierre. You've got Rodgers. You got Murphy. I think they're doing okay there, surprisingly now. Not that I believe in Pierre a lot, but they brought him in.
They could bring Jeff Okudah back again, so there's always that.
Like Metellus, don't know how I feel about Theo Jackson. I guess I would say top 3, even though I haven't done that in all of them. I would say in whatever order you want, it's D-line, safety, and running back.
Yeah, that sounds about right. They could definitely use some help on the defensive side of the ball. Chicago Bears, again, set at quarterback. Running back, they believe they're set at with the guys that they've got in that room. I would not be surprised to see them grab another one because it just seems like they like grabbing the mid-round running back, seeing what they can do with them. Wide receiver, pretty much set, although Khalif Raymond now has been pushed into the 3rd wide receiver role for them, which is not a bad spot for him to be, all things considered, with Adunze and Burden. And let's be honest, he's really the 4th option still there because Colston Loveland and Cole Kmet, he might be the 5th option. So I think they're fine with pass catchers, right? The real question was what they were going to do on the offensive line because, again, obviously with Dahlman retiring, they had to do something. At center, went out and got Garrett Bradbury, who's a nice piece for them when they traded him in there. Where it gets interesting for them is tackle because Ozzie Trapillo is going to miss part of or the entire season. Not quite sure exactly how much, but that hurts them for left tackle. They brought Jedrick Willis back. They brought Braxton Jones back. So they brought in Jedrick Willis, which I don't feel great about. They brought back Braxton Jones, who flashed early in his career and kind of fell off the pace, so to speak. So it would not surprise me if they look at a potential, guard tackle guy in that ballpark at some point in this draft to just add to that competition. So I would definitely see that for the offensive side of the ball, outside of running back. That's the big need. Defensively, look, here's the thing, man. They're still trying to roll with Montez Sweat and a bunch of question marks at edge. It's just they don't have another answer right now at edge rusher, so they have to go out and do that and prioritize that.
The defensive line slot.
Again, if they really want to go all in, that would be the thing to do because Montez Sweat always profiles better as a number 2 anyways. But it's going to take a lot to still get Crosby, even with the slightly diminished return, and whether or not Chicago wants to do that, whether or not the Raiders would be comfortable with Chicago's picks, knowing that they're both going to be probably toward the back part. Although, again, the Bears could regress this year. Let's not forget they played a fourth place schedule last year.
With Baltimore. I mean, shit.
All right. Yeah, we'll see. And again, Baltimore had the 14 this year too. That's higher than where the Bears are picking at.
That's fair.
So that's part of the thing to factor in there. I will say this though. Love what they did to replace Edmonds at linebacker, grabbing Devin Bush coming off his best season of his career, the former Cleveland Browns / several other things. So I think that was a nice pickup for them for $10 million a year is not bad for him in there. And so that kind of helps them at linebacker with Noah Sewell in back there as well as some of the guys that they've got that they can bring into that conversation. Corner, Johnson, Tyreek Stevenson. I'm not as high on Tyreek as you are, but he's been doing pretty well. They brought Kobe Bryant in to solidify the safety spot. Kyler Gordon. I mean, Jaquan Brisker is the big question mark. Are they going to keep him or not? So once they figure that piece out, you could say that safety is a need for them, depending on what choice they make there. But so I would say the focus for this team is definitely going to be a little more on the defensive side of the football when it comes to the draft. The poops.
All right. Let's share here. Just quick.
Do we have to?
The gauntlet thing. Yeah, I guess, man. I mean, Love, set. Running back. Yep. Jacobs, set. Wide receivers. I mean, Watson, Golden,
look at all those
Reed,
twos.
Williams, Moore, set. Yeah, Wicks, set, right?
So many
tight
twos.
End, Kraft, tight end, set, man. Tackle, yep. Walker, he's a free agent. I don't know what they're going to do, right?
Well, I mean, Walker's the kind of guy that you could see them, bringing back depending on the price tag.
All right, Banks.
Who they overpaid for?
Ryan, Belton, Tom. I feel like
Tom's the only one I feel good about.
Yep. Yeah, O-line for sure offensively, all positions. It is what it is. Defensively,
right.
You got Hargrave and Wyatt and Brooks. I think D-line's okay. Edge rushers, Van Ness and Parsons, you're okay. I love that Van Ness is finally getting into a spot where he's like going to be a guy.
Well, he's going to have to prove it, though. This is his year.
He's going to prove it, and sadly, I'm just going to be pissed and validated all at the same time.
When he sacks Jared Goff, yeah.
Right. Linebacker, if healthy, they're super set with Edgerrin Cooper. If Franklin can stay healthy, super set, right? And they still
Franklin
have Hopper
stays healthy
in the back. Yeah, that's a big if. Cornerback is a need too, man.
Oh yeah.
I'm not huge on either one of their corners. It's just the nickel is. I feel good about Bullard, and
Bullard's
safeties
fine.
are set. So I'd say corner for sure. Definitely corner and O-line, dude. Is that it?
Yeah. Those are the big areas. I think they could still use if they can find their way, and they won't necessarily in this draft. But man, they have so many question marks of like potential guys at wide receiver, but none of them have been able to stay healthy long enough to prove are they the right guy. It's a weird room for them.
It's a weird.
That's all
room.
I'm going to say. It's a weird room for them. All right, let's talk about the Lions and some of the choices they have and haven't made. Quarterback, good.
Dude, I got some
running
hot
back
takes for this. Quarterback,
super
set.
Good.
Running back, set. Wide receivers, set, right? And do we say the names? Goff, Gibbs, Pacheco, Tesla, Williams, St. Brown, all set. Tight end, Laporta. Yeah, he's coming off an injury. Still got Brock Wright coming off an injury. Still think
wouldn't be
set.
surprised. Wouldn't be surprised to see them draft a tight end at some point.
Yeah, but I'm just saying pressing needs. Like early. It's not pressing.
Right.
O-line, left tackle, massive need. Everything else I'm okay with. I like the Mays signing at center. Love Ratledge. Love Sewell. I'm okay with Mahogany / Frazier figuring out if one of those guys can be the guy. But it's basically offensively left tackle. That's it, right?
Mm-hmm. Which is unfortunate in a non-left tackle draft.
All right. Defensively, I want to get D-line between McNeil and Williams. You're set, right? You could use a backup, but it's not pressing.
As long as Tyleek, plays better than he did last year.
Right. Edge rusher, super not set. You have Hutch and nothing.
Yep. Again,
Hutch and nothing.
I'm still hoping that they can bring our boy back, Al Hassanin. I'm hoping he gets a chance to have a crack, but
he's already there.
Well,
he's on a reserve contract. But you know what I want? If we're going to do this, because it's our team, so let's do it a tiny project. I want AJ Epinesa.
Okay.
Tell me he wouldn't be great to bring in, even if he's just the third edge rusher. Nobody signed him.
He'd be a nice complimentary piece.
He's still floating out there. Give me AJ freaking Epinesa.
The only good news there is that he might not cost as much now that teams are moving through their first couple rounds.
Him up with sacks or anything, but he's just been a solid guy for Buffalo, and he's been asked to. I want AJ.
Oh, they can use rotation pieces. There's no doubt about that.
If they can, I would draft somebody and bring in Muhammad back and Epinesa. If you could draft somebody and have those three, the somebody and those two, I should say.
Yeah, I feel good about that.
Feeling good. Linebacker. They could definitely maybe take a depth piece, but you got to figure Campbell, Barnes, Rodrigo, they're not doing awful there. I mean, Campbell was the best linebacker in football last year.
Right.
So they're good. Cornerback, I would say it's a need, wouldn't you?
Yes. The entire secondary is a need for me.
Arnold has struggled. Reed struggled. Rakestraw hasn't touched the field.
Right.
Rocky Sin played well considering that he had to be thrown in. I know you're a hater on him, but everybody else loves him.
I'm not a hater. I'm fine with him as your backup.
Everything I read, he's the best CB4 in the league, and when he's got to go in, he's not going to let you down.
But he got forced into being a CB2, and I don't feel good with him there.
Everybody got hurt. So, and then the safeties, not a need if they're healthy, but that's a crazy unknown.
Are they going to be?
Crazy unknown. So I don't know. And I want to go back to linebacker. I'm not saying you have to draft anybody. Could you imagine if they sign Epinesa and they sign White and they sign Muhammad? How much more just good I'd feel? Because then it's like, okay, let's go get the left tackle and let's get a DB, man.
Right. No, but they're those are the areas plus edge rusher. We've been talking about it for a while. We thought it was interior of the O-line. Now it feels like it's tackle, definitely. But it's been tackle, edge, and corner, or O-line, edge, corner the entire time. So that's one of the few teams that hasn't moved around too much.
And I didn't get to tell you this off the air. We'll end the show with this because say if there's anything else, it is the home team. It is our team. We'll end it. Yep. Dude, the more and more I look at it, just because you got to look for they like to run the football in Detroit too. I think I was looking into the run blocking grades. I do think Blake Miller might be the best fit for them now.
Whoops.
Yep.
Well, Miller at 17 could be a good option. We'll let you know whether or not we do that because next episode will be half as long, and we're going to rip through our post-free agency mock draft. So that should be a lot of fun to see what we got to say about that next time on Draft Draft.